Hey guys, and welcome back to Tackle Crew. Today I want to talk about two of my absolute favorite rods. It's from the Shimano Expride line, and it's the 6'10 medium light in the spinning and the 6'10 medium in the casting. And I thought I'd review them and also compare them. The 6'10 medium rod in casting does not need an introduction, I think. So many people use it. It's really that jerk bait king, in my opinion, and a lot of people think so too. And so this rod, a lot of people own it, a lot of people use it, and it's one of those top selling rods throughout any lineup, I think. And this rod, it's such a well-built rod. It's really lightweight. It's well designed, and if you have fished any of the Expride rods, you know that they are great looking, but they also feel great in your hand, and they just feel like a premium rod to me. And like a lot of people say, they really perform way above their price point. So these rods are great rods from Shimano. And so the Expride 6'10 medium light then in the spinning. A few weeks ago I actually picked this rod up because I wanted a lightweight rod for my Ned fishing and for that really finesse type of fishing. So I picked it up and I was super surprised about how well it performed and how sensitive this is compared to the Zodia's rod, for example, or the Curado rod. I've used a few of them, but I thought it would be fun to just compare the spinning and the bait casting in the 6'10. Here in Europe, I think this is just a few models compared to the US market. So this is the only 6'10 that we have in the spinning, and the 6'10 medium is the only one we have in the casting. So I thought I'd compare them and see how they perform differently when you're fishing with them and what type of fishing you can do with them. The 6'10 medium in casting is really a jerk bait king, in my opinion. The action of this rod is just so well built for that type of fishing. You have a really strong backbone of the rod, and coming into the middle, you still have a lot of power, but you have a little bit more bend. When you come up 3/4 up to the tip, then you have a really nice bend in your rod. It's a little bit slower in this section, and when you come up to the tip of this rod, it's actually a little bit faster. So you can drive the jerkbait with a tip, but you have a really nice bend. So when you're hitting the jerkbait, it's not overly hitting it. So basically, the tip drives it. The 3/4 section absorbs a lot of vibration, and so you can actually hit that bait quite hard without it just bouncing around all over the place. And that's what I really like about this rod. It's so well built for that type of fishing. But like I said, you can also do a lot of jig fishing because the tip is a little bit faster, and then you have a little bit more bend in the mid, and then you have a really nice backbone. So when you do get a fish on there, you can really lift them up. So I can actually fish chatterbaits with this as well, and it performs quite well. And comparing that to the spinning medium light rod, you have a completely different action. So this rod has a really nice back session, but then coming up to the middle, it gets softer. 3/4 into the rod, you also have a really nice bend, and even the tip is a lot slower and a lot softer than in your casting model. What do I use this for? Well, I use this rod mostly for my finesse and Ned fishing. So I use really lightweight jig heads, and I really use light stuff on this one. As you can see, it really bends quite a lot when I just apply. Yeah, it's not a lot of pressure at all, so it's really light. But the nice thing about this is that the midsection bends, but it's still pretty strong. And when you come back down to this section, it really has some good backbone. So like I said, this is classified from 4 to 6 grams. But when you throw in baits, you can actually throw more than that. So that's a really good surprise for me, because I thought this would be too light. But I tried to put on a 28-gram head on like a 10 centimeter jig, and I can throw that. It's not ideal, but you can throw it. So it's a good thing, at least in my opinion. If you throw like an 18-gram head, then you can definitely throw that on this one. So the total sum, like if you throw an 18-gram head and on a 10 centimeter jig, then you will be fine. So total, that will be probably around 21 grams or something like that. But you can definitely throw that. So that's a good thing, I think, about this rod. And so conclusion here is that it's just a completely different action from the 6'10 casting. So be mindful of that, and when you are casting and when you're spin fishing, then don't be fooled thinking that just because the rod length is the same, you can do the same type of fishing with them. So what else can you do with the 6'10 medium light spinning? Well, I fished jigs, like I said. I fish small Ned heads on this, but I can also throw lipless cranks on this, vibration baits, and I think it performs really well with that. I mean, the vibrations coming through into the reel seat is just amazing on this rod. It's so sensitive. It's so much fun. But also, I actually throw a couple of smaller square bills or crankbaits on this one as well. It actually performs really well, and that is because the back section here is so strong. So you will have a little bit more bend in the midsection throwing like a deep crankbait. That probably wouldn't be my recommendation, but you can throw a crankbait that's not that deep going, or if you have a crankbait that has a really tight action, that might work for you as well. I've tried that and I've had a little bit of success doing that as well. But smaller crankbaits, not deep diving, and those baits will have a great action in the water because the rod is just following that bait action so much. So that's actually a lot of fun doing on this rod because it's so sensitive as well. So the Expride line, the 6'10 medium light and the 6'10 medium, in conclusion, they are two completely different rods. You find some similarities in that you can fish some jig fishing, bottom contact fishing with them both. But the spinning is definitely for your finesse or more Ned type of fishing, a little bit lighter. The casting is for your little bit more heavier things, but absolutely for your jerkbait fishing. You can try, but don't try jerkbait fishing on this one. It's not designed for it. But they are both two amazing rods. I love to fish with these ones. And as you can see, they are about the same length in the back here. And I really like that. They are perfect for your Ned fishing. As you can see, comes up. This is my elbow right here, so it comes up a little bit like that. So you have a lot of room to move it when you move in the baits. Same goes for the casting. When you move the bait, you are jerking or you are moving things at the bottom. You can do that really, really well. And so that's what I like about these rods. They are really designed for the techniques that you need to fish with them. So some rods, they have like a longer handle in the back, and you get stuck under your arm, or it's just comes down a little bit too far down, and it is much harder to move it around. So I love that about these rods. So guys, I hope this was interesting for you, and if you guys like these types of videos, please leave a thumbs up, And also, we love to see your comments down below, so please comment something. And if you like these types of videos as well, please hit subscribe and you'll get a notification when more videos comes. So thanks guys for watching. See you in the next one.